There's just no way that we could ever do this. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and today we're just going to be doing another quick teacher tip that I think a lot of people don't realize, because I had such a huge response to this on Instagram. So I kind of wanted to make like a little 5-minute video going over this in just a little bit more detail. Just in case you needed to hear this, especially being January, this is my PSA. You do not have to finish the curriculum by the end of the year to count it as a credit. Around this time, which is January, everybody kind of looks at the rest of the book and you kind of see like, oh, I should be about halfway through, right? Not exactly. It doesn't always end up working out that way. And I know this firsthand because there's several classes we definitely have not hit that halfway point, and I know we are not going to finish by the end of the year. And that's okay, because I've never seen a law in any state that requires you to finish the book for it to be counted as a credit or for your child to move on to the next class. Now, I will say upfront, here is the only exception to that rule. I would say you should finish, not that you have to, but that you should. It would be in the best interest of your child if they finish the book, if it is a prerequisite to the next class. Now, most of the time you're gonna find that with math. So if you only got about halfway through fractions and you're trying to move on to the next class, that might be a little bit difficult because a lot of math curriculum builds upon the previous year's concepts. So check and see what your next curriculum is going to be in line with that subject and see if the class they're taking now is a prereq. If it's not, you're good to go. You don't have to finish it. And you don't have to stress out about that. And that's what a lot of the stress around this time of the year revolves around, is do I have to finish the curriculum? Case in point, my oldest son is doing Apologia Chemistry. This is not an easy class. This is actually a really tough class. I did not do well in chemistry, so I'm on the struggle bus too with it. So I don't know, maybe it's a family trait, but we just don't do well in chemistry. We are taking chemistry a lot slower. So it is the midway point of the year and we're about a third of the way through the book, where most people would be at that halfway point, maybe. We're only on module 5 right now. We're smack dab in the middle of module 5 because we spent a long time in module 1, like an extra month in module 1. And that's okay. He wasn't getting the concepts and we had to take it a little bit slower. Now, some other reasons why you might want to take things a little bit slower is because you might want to go off in another direction. So say you're learning about a specific time period or person in history class. And let's say your child is having a lot of fun doing that. It's perfectly okay to kind of go over the river and through the woods off the beaten trail and study more about that subject. Science is the same thing. So if your child is learning about something in science that they really, really like and they're just not ready to move on to the next concept, it is 100% okay for you to go ahead and do something else that's related to that. And that's kind of what unit studies are good for when we talk about science. There are tons of unit studies for science and history that you can kind of take your time with and expand upon a certain idea, time period, or place. Don't feel like you are in a box with this curriculum. Use the curriculum as a guide, not as this is what we absolutely have to do all the time. I know personally for my state, what matters is how many hours you spent in that subject when it comes to high school credit. And I kind of use that rule with all of the subjects. So, you know, as long as we spend this amount of time in the curriculum or in the subject, really, not even the curriculum, but as long as they're on that subject and it's on grade level, you're fine. You don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't finish this textbook, so is he actually going to get the credit for it? Does that count as a credit? Yes, it counts as a credit. As long as I personally meet those hours in the criteria, my child is fine. So check your state laws, but again, you do not have to finish the curriculum. You don't have to finish that book. Also, a lot of public school teachers don't finish the book by the end of the year too. And I know because I was them. So, and I don't think there was a year that I ever finished the actual entire book. And a lot of times we would jump around because we found that we liked this subject and then we kind of wanted to move to this subject. And I would kind of just, the book was a guide and it wasn't like a rule book. I hope that that makes sense. You use the curriculum as a guide to help you on that specific journey of that subject. You do not have to do everything that it says, and you don't have to do every single assignment. And if you want to move ahead, as long as they have the concept already learned, you can move ahead. It's usually not a big deal. So here's my friendly PSA to everybody around this time of year. Stop stressing out. You don't have to finish it by the end of the year. And you can even stop and pick it back up next year if you don't finish it and you want to finish it. So if you don't even have enough time in the end of the year, but your child really, really likes that book, there's no shame in using it again another year and finishing it out before you start a new book. You don't have to start fresh with brand new books at the beginning of the year. As long as they are doing on grade level work, you're fine. So, and it's really easy to tailor things if they're not on grade level for your child. So let's say that the book that you have is supposed to be for 3rd grade, but your child is going into 4th grade. Make the assignments a little bit harder for them. Make them write a little bit more and expect more out of their writing. If the book is a lot of books are like this, especially the homeschool books that were not made for classroom settings. So Generations is like this. That's one of the reasons why I like Generations. They will have books lumped into elementary, middle, and high school. So if my son is really liking his history curriculum, which he is, and he wants to finish it out, it's good for any year in high school. So I can have him do that next year too, and it's still going to be on grade level for him. I hope that I explained that in a good way. But a lot of curriculum is written and designed that way, so you can use several different books over the course of several different grades, and they can kind of pick and choose every year which one they want to do. They don't have to do this book because it's 10th grade and this book because it's 11th grade. They can kind of pick from the high school books that they have available, and all of those books are good for 9 through 12. And it's the same thing for elementary and middle school. And Apologia is another one that does that really well. So they have elementary books, they have middle school books, they have high school books. And as long as they complete something within the bracket that they're in, elementary, middle, or high school, you're fine. So you can cover more than 1 year with a book. If you decided to go off the beaten path for a little while, you can still continue that. So there is another option for you. There's all kinds of things that you can do with this, but don't feel like you're boxed in and you have to finish it within this amount of time because you want to get your money's worth. Just do it next year. It's fine. All right, there's my friendly PSA for today. And I hope that that helps some of you de-stress a little bit this time of year, because it's that time of year where you're like, I should be halfway through this book, and a lot of us just aren't. I'm not. So don't stress out, relax. We're gonna get through this year, I promise. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.